right up here. And see around the eyes. Your orbicularis is the shape. It's the shape of a circle or an orbit. Orbicularis oculi. The orbital rounded muscle around the eyes. Okay?
And what's its purpose?
Its purpose is to move the eyes around, and also attaches onto the orbit in the zygomatic bone and part of the frontal bone. So we'll get to that in a second. The second one is your orbicularis oris. Orbicularis oris is the circular muscle around the mouth. Okay. So this muscle here. Orbicularis oris. Okay. The third one is the occipito. I'm not sure if this is on the sheet or not. Occipito This is an interesting one that you might not think of immediately. Occipital frontalis. We know that the occipital bone, right, is in the back of the head. The frontal bone is in the front of the head. So actually this muscle is connected over the top of the head by an aponeurosis. An aponeurosis is a connection between muscle bodies. It has two bellies. It has a frontal belly and it has an occipital belly. So the occipital frontalis muscle runs from the front of the head here and connects in with the orbicularis oculi and runs connected with an aponeurosis over the top of the head and then ends in the back on the occipital bone in this area right here. So the occipital frontalis muscle has an occipital belly and a frontal belly connected by what's called an aponeurosis, but it's the epicranial aponeurosis. So that means it's the one over the top of the head that connects these two muscles. Okay? The next muscle, I think it's probably on your sheet, is the temporalis. Temporalis muscle is this one here, located right over the temporal bone. This would be the temporalis. The next one is a very important muscle of mastication or chewing, which is the masseter. The masseter muscle. It's in the cheek. This one right here. One that is also on the sheet is the buccinator. Buccinator muscle is also in the face, and that's a much smaller muscle than the masseter, and move this around, the muscle in here, it's deeper. It's this one that has a oblique running of the fascicles, the buccinator muscle. All important in chewing and movements of the mouth. The next one is in the neck area, and that's the one we already talked a little bit about. Is the sternocleidomastoid. Sternocleidomastoid muscle, and again that's this one right here, which inserts on the mastoid process of the temporal bone and points of origin on the clavicle and the sternum.
Can you point out the masseter muscle again on this guy?
The masseter is over here. Right here.
Oh, okay.
More superficial than the buccinator. The buccinator is deeper. Yep. The next muscle of importance is the platysma. The platysma muscle.
Are we eating those, or they're all being here?
What's that?
Are we eating those, or
Some of them are on here and some of them are on. If they're not on there, write them down. Okay. The platysma is this
Everything
one
on the
right
board
here.
has been added.
Underneath.
no?
Goes up to the neck, right underneath the
So it's masseter.
clitomastoid and runs underneath the
Oh,
shoulder.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's the platysma. The next muscle is the deltoid. The deltoid muscle is one that we talked about in the shape. There's a triangular muscle in it. It's right on the shoulder. It's the deltoid muscle right here. Right on the tip of the shoulder. The next one is in the back. That's the trapezius. The trapezius muscle is in the upper back, shaped in the form of a trapezoid. It's a very large muscle. And it starts back here, comes out, goes down here, and will be always this area right in here. That's the trapezius.
I didn't know it goes down that far.
In the shape of a trapezoid. The next one is the latissimus dorsi. Latissimus kind of runs laterally in the back, in the dorsal area, right? Dorsal is back. So latissimus dorsi is this muscle down here. Okay, it's in the mid-thorax area down to the lower back. That's the latissimus dorsi muscle. The abdominal muscles we talked about, let's just write them down. The rectus abdominis. Transverse abdominis.